Are you willing to rethink everything you've been told about fat if the evidence shows the advice was built on cherry-picked data and led to worse health outcomes?
Welcome to Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. Stay informed with quick, easy-to-listen summaries of our latest articles, perfect for when you're on the go. No reading required. Subscribe for free at mercola.com for the latest health insights.
Hello, and welcome to Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. I'm Ethan Foster. Today we're examining why saturated fat was vilified, how industrial seed oils filled the gap, and why U.S. officials now say the guidelines need to change.
I'm Alara Skye. For decades, you were told butter, red meat, dairy, and eggs would clog your arteries. Meanwhile, vegetable oils and margarine were promoted as safer. That narrative ignored contradictory evidence and lined up with industry interests. The result has been rising metabolic disease, inflammation, and obesity as seed oils quietly became a daily staple.
On July 14, 2025, the newly appointed FDA Commissioner, Dr. Marty Makary, joined health and agriculture leaders to announce plans to overhaul U.S. dietary guidelines. He pointed to the 7-country study that launched the war on saturated fat and said the new process will follow evidence rather than dogma. His message was clear. It's time to correct the record.
The flaw goes back to method. The 7-country study linked saturated fat to heart disease by selecting nations that supported the hypothesis and excluding those that did not. That choice created an illusion of certainty. It was observational, not causal, and it ignored data from many other countries that showed the opposite pattern.
Policy still raced ahead. Low-fat products flooded stores, and polyunsaturated seed oils, soybean, corn, canola, sunflower, safflower, were framed as heart-healthy. As Makary put it, the establishment locked arms and walked off a cliff together. The debate narrowed, and dissenting data were dismissed rather than addressed.
Journalist Marianne DeMacy challenged that consensus in the 2-part documentary Heart of the Matter, which examined saturated fat and statins. The backlash was immediate. Media criticism, pressure from institutions, and removal of the episodes followed, despite no demonstrated factual errors. Today, DeMacy calls the new federal stance a significant turning point.
Many others raised alarms over the years. John Yudkin warned early that sugar, not fat, was the more credible culprit. Researchers like Ufa Ravenskov and Malcolm Kendrick questioned the cholesterol hypothesis. In 2013, cardiologist Asim Malhotra argued that decades of low-fat advice may have increased cardiovascular risk by driving the wrong food choices.
The public conversation widened when Nina Teichholz published The Big Fat Surprise in 2014, documenting how weak science, politics, and industry pressure cemented anti-fat policy. Then, in 2016, a BMJ published reanalysis of the Minnesota coronary experiment found that replacing saturated fat with linoleic acid-rich vegetable oils lowered cholesterol but increased deaths, especially from cardiovascular causes.
Mechanistically, the problem points to linoleic acid, the dominant omega-6 fat in seed oils. In excess, LA oxidizes into toxic metabolites that damage mitochondria, disrupt energy production, and drive inflammation. That upstream damage aligns with the rise in obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and neurodegenerative conditions.
Your exposure has soared. An estimated 2 grams of LA per day in the 1860s has grown to something closer to 30 grams for many people today, accounting for roughly 15% to 25% of daily calories. LA also accumulates in body fat and lingers for years, continuing to generate oxidative stress long after you change your meals.
Even if you stop frying with seed oils, LA hides in packaged foods, restaurant dressings, condiments, and bakery items. Labels often list blends or euphemisms, making avoidance difficult. This is why the first step is awareness. Reading every ingredient list is non-negotiable if you want to reduce LA intake meaningfully.
Once you reduce seed oils, the rebuilding phase focuses on stable fats that support energy production. Choose saturated fats from clean animal sources, grass-fed butter, ghee, and beef tallow, and include coconut oil. These fats are structurally resilient, less prone to oxidation, and provide steady fuel without the mitochondrial disruption linked to high LA oils.
As policy evolves, one likely change is removing caps on saturated fat in dietary guidelines. That shift would acknowledge the weight of contrary evidence and move recommendations toward metabolic support rather than inherited assumptions. It would also align guidance with the mechanistic understanding of how different fats behave in your cells.
Why did the myth persist? Follow the incentives. Low-fat processed foods and industrial seed oils created massive new markets. On the medical side, the cholesterol hypothesis underpinned decades of drug development and marketing. Admitting that saturated fat is not the villain would threaten revenue streams across both sectors.
None of this makes saturated fat a cure-all. It places the emphasis back where it belongs, on eliminating industrial seed oils that flood you with linoleic acid and on choosing fats that don't oxidize easily. The practical takeaway is straightforward. Reduce LA exposure, then build meals around stable fats and unprocessed foods.
If you still picture butter and beef as automatic threats, consider the reappraisals underway. The 2016 reanalysis showing lower cholesterol alongside higher mortality when LA replaced saturated fat should give you pause. Markers can move in the right direction, while outcomes move in the wrong one. Outcomes deserve priority.
Your next move can be simple and decisive. Start with your pantry. Pull every bottle and package, read the ingredient lists, and set aside anything containing soybean, corn, canola, cottonseed, sunflower, safflower, grapeseed, rice bran, or generic vegetable oil. That single audit lowers LA exposure more than any supplement or timing trick.
From there, stock fats that align with the evidence. Use grass-fed butter or ghee for sautéing, beef tallow for high-heat cooking, and coconut oil where you want a neutral, stable option. Build meals around whole, minimally processed foods so hidden oils don't sneak back in through sauces, snacks, or dressings.
Today's challenge: conduct a full seed oil audit in your kitchen and on your usual grocery list. Remove every product containing those oils and replace them with grass-fed butter, ghee, beef tallow, or coconut oil. Keep reading labels this week to maintain the change. Thank you for watching Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe now and click the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.